Welcome back to Death Metal, right here at Comicstorian, where we take your favorite comic book storylines, break them down into dramatic and condensed bites, allowing you to catch up on what is happening in the world of comics. Death Metal is the conclusion to everything going on in the DC universe right now. Basically, what you need to know is that the Justice League has lost, the evil Batman who laughs took over the entire planet with a bunch of evil Batmen from various locations in the multiverse, and now the Batman who laughs has been killed. Wonder Woman is putting together a team to try and defeat Perpetua, the evil being that was freed from the Source Wall. It's a lot to go over, but let's get into issue 2. The lizard slowly creeps through the tall grass, occasionally peeking its head up and looking around. Finally, it stops, standing up on its hind legs. With a zip, Batman pulls free his disguise and hits his radio. "Castle Bat, come in. There's no sign of them yet, but I swear, if they come this way, Batman will teach them that big things come in small." He begins, but his words are cut off as a tire runs him over, squashing the tiniest Dark Knight. The monster Batmobile continues down the road, driving across the hellscape that was once Washington, D.C. Finally, it screeches to a halt inside of an ancient cemetery. "Where have you taken me? Hey, you! Fine, you may have severed my brainstem, but I am Batman Beast," the sentient Batmobile tells them. "In a world of genius machines, I rose to sentience. You cannot best me." As they walk away, a Swamp Thing looks over his shoulder. "If you're smart, why do they call elbows funny bones?" he asks, a beep emitting from the hood. The answer is a joke. An elbow is called a funny bone because it's humorous. Batmobeast answers them as the Swamp Thing swings a tentacle from his elbow, smashing into the Dark Knight's face. A Dr. Manhattan-empowered Wally West tries to warn Swamp Thing that he just told a dad joke, but Wonder Woman cuts him off. "Enough. We need to find Bruce fast, while the Dark Knights are still reeling from the Batman who laughs at death," she tells them. Alec agrees, but tells her that he doesn't sense Batman in this large cemetery. And Wonder Woman nods, agreeing. "That's because he's in the other cemetery," she tells him. Reaching out, she pushes aside one of the gravestones, revealing a stairwell into the darkness below. The group descends the stairs, journeying into this darkness. "How do I not know about this?" Wally questions. And Diana explains that they are entering the Valhalla Cemetery, the Crypt of Heroes. She explains that it is the resting place of trusted friends and guarded by magic and a rotating group of custodians. "I was afraid that when Perpetua rearranged the world for the Batman who laughs, landmarks like this were lost, but it seems like everything is intact, just twisted around," she tells them. Suddenly, a glowing green, three-headed dog rushes around the corner, barking and growling at Wonder Woman. It tackles her, ignoring her commands to stand down, but Wonder Woman lifts the creature over her head, calling out the Guardians of the Crypt. "Whoever guards the crypt, hear me. Swamp Thing, the Flash, and Wonder Woman are here, and we need your help. Please." The dog stops struggling, and a voice can be heard. "What is the password?" it asks, and Wonder Woman thinks, finally stating that the last Guardian told her that it was Munkle. The Guardian suddenly appears, and around the corner, the aging members of the Justice Society of America step into view. It's pronounced Ma Hunkle. She was the guardian of the first headquarters of the Justice Society of America, Alan Scott tells her with a smile. The old heroes greet the group, and everyone smiles, shaking hands with those that they have not seen in what seems like forever. "Tell me, the world above, can we win it back?" Alan asks Diana. "That's why we're here, my old friend," she tells him. And behind them, Jay pulls Wally into a hug, telling the young man that he'll never forget him again. Diana asks if Batman is there, and Alan nods, telling her that he's asked to not be disturbed. "Is conscripting an army," Alan tells her, pointing her into the crypt. Batman stands among the tomb, followed by an undead Jonah Hex, and they move down the line of heroes, with Batman questioning each about their powers. As Jonah rattles off the list of abilities, Batman nods, enlisting those who could be of use with a stamp of his power. Diana comes up behind him, telling Bruce that this isn't the way that they win. But Bruce doesn't answer her right away, pausing. "You shouldn't have killed him. Whatever you set in motion, I told you we needed to fight small," he finally tells her. "But that wasn't something that I could live with. I'm sorry," she responds. Bruce sighs, telling her that whatever the Batman who laughs evolves into, they might not be able to stop it. But he returns to his work, beginning to stamp everyone. "We'll take the castle now, fast, forge an attack in the dark. We'll save everyone that we can. No more, no less." She tries to explain to him that they need to get the crisis energy and use it to save all Earths, even those that have fallen. Make something new, beautiful, and endless, she tells him, but Bruce turns to her, explaining. We can't do that. Just leave and let me get back to work, he tells her finally, but Diana reaches out, taking his hand before he can stamp another tomb. We're saving everyone, starting with you. She asks him what happened to him in the final battle. What changed inside of him when the Justice League lost? But Bruce pulls his hand away, telling her, it doesn't matter. I know that you're wrong because I've made the same mistakes in the past. When Barbados attacked, I was the one who said we should use the 10th metal. I was the center of the conflict and thought that if we could reach higher, we'd not only win, but make the world a better place. Instead, we broke the source wall. We set Perpetua free. When we reached higher again, we tried to use the energy from Dr. Manhattan to combat her. We fell, and you're talking about something crazier, he tells her. No matter how much she tries, Diana cannot get through to Bruce, and she finally turns away with Alex stepping forward. He's scared. Give him some time, Diana. But she looks at her friend, asking what will happen if Bruce is right, and Alec looks back, finally telling her of an ancient fern that he had studied when he was human. He tells her of a prehistoric fern known as a Gilboa that grew taller than any tree, and because of its height, other plants grew beneath it, strangling the life out of it. Do you agree with Bruce? She asks, but Alex shakes his head. No, because the Gilboa's height quickened the atmosphere's transformation, and now ferns are one of the most prevalent plants alive. My point is reaching for what we may never grasp is never wrong. But the fern, that's the same thing I just told Bats minus the fern, with more swearing. Hex tells him as Batman crosses the room. Bruce, you're in? Just tell me that you have a plan. She nods, telling him that Wally waits in the crypt while they travel to New Apocalypse and rescue their friends. They then travel to the Dark Multiverse, to the original Crisis, and they steal the energy that is being funneled to Perpetua. Use it to finally power up Wally so that he can destroy her and rebuild the universe using the abilities of Dr. Manhattan. Batman nods. Well, that's either a plan or you're having a stroke. Diana nods, telling him that they need to move fast. On it. Hey, Bear! Jay Garrick yells. Suddenly, there's a blur of motion and the crackle of lightning, and Barry Allen stands before them. Yeah, what is it? What's wrong? I hope this is worth stopping, Jay. If he detects me. Wally? Barry says quickly, and the three speedsters come together in a triple flash hug, smiling. Jay asks how much Speed Force is left, with Barry explaining that he has used most of it while trying to go back in time and fix everything. There's no way out of the present, he explains. But Diana explains that they aren't looking to travel through time. Instead of going back and altering everything, instead of possibly creating a flashpoint, they're gonna go to New Apocalypse and save their friends. And then win, Batman tells them. Well, maybe this was worth stopping for after all, Barry smiles. Meanwhile, over at Castle Bat, the Robin Crows hold up the platter with the Batman Who Laughs brain on it as Alfred is slowly placing it into the body of Dr. Manhattan. Meanwhile, Batmage continues to tell them to be steady as Bat Rex explains that he doesn't understand what they're doing. Batmage explains that the Blue Man is a Bruce Wayne whose body is more energy construct than flesh. He explains that according to the Batman Who Laughs, the body should absorb his brain and he will become a being of near unlimited power. As the body begins to absorb the brain, the fingers twitch and Bruce Wayne sits up. He seems confused though, as those in the room question whether the operation worked. Batmage steps forward, standing before the new being. My name is Batmage, my lord. Be Rex and beyond. We await your orders faithfully. One Who Laughs, he states, but the being still seems confused. I knew it wouldn't work. Look at him. He's nothing more than a big blue vegetable. He can't even say his own name. B-Rex yells, but suddenly the very fabric of his being unravels before them, and the blue being smiles wickedly. There is no name for one like me. Not yet, he tells them, when suddenly everyone grasps at their heads as a voice echoes across reality. One Who Laughs, Perpetua calls, and Batmage tries to warn the One Who Laughs, but the being has already begun to shift into a form like his old body. My queen, you call me? He asks, and the eyes of Perpetua appear before them, staring into the room. I sensed a disturbance, and the One Who Laughs merely smiles. On the contrary, all is well here, and out there, the One Who Laughs explains. From the vastness of the multiverse, Perpetua looks down upon Earth 30. and she tells him that she has conquered another world and only 6 remain. She warns that if those of her kind sense what she is doing, they will come. Only I can conceal us. I trust you simply because you know that if you usurp me, the hands will come for us both. And my judgment, while harsh, is nothing compared to the reckoning that they will bring us both. With these final words, the light of Perpetua in her eyes disappear, and the others look up from where they were bowing, and Batmage looks back at their master. My lord, we are at your service. What would you have us do? The one who laughs waves his hand, unraveling them from reality. Nothing. He smiles, and all that remains is one of the crows. The one who laughs bends down to him, explaining that he found what the others wanted. But in you I sense the darkness. Tell me your story, child. He asks him, and the crow leans in, whispering his tale to the one who laughs' ear. And he stands. My power is still weak. I could use a like-minded ally. Tell me, boy, would you like to be the Robin King? Crow? The creature asks, and the one who laughs nods, smiling. He explains that the boy will have a crown. He knows of Diana's plans, and he knows that she hopes to rebuild the multiverse. Well, so do I, but I'm going to build something like they've never seen before. 52 planets of nightmare! Beautiful in their horror. He smiles a twisted smile, and his body begins to shift and morph back as he looks at the crow. Now take my form, child. Do not be afraid. Blue is for soldiers of morning and light. But me, I am no dawn. Now you can call me the darkest night. He growls as his shape becomes animalistic, shifting to the form of a shadow with the very darkness drifting off of him. In the Arkham Wastelands, the heroes continue to race forward, with giant bats following in pursuit. Batman, are you sure this is the location? I don't see no GPS in that bone mobile, Harley yells in the back of her mutated hyena. If he says he's sure, he's sure. Hex defends the Dark Knight, firing his pistol. You're sure, right? He asks in a whisper, but Batman points up ahead where a lone scientist guards an underground entrance. He orders them to stop firing his weapon and warning them that the rounds are laced with a substance that will cause permanent insanity. But Harley's hyena doesn't slow and bites his head clean off. The heroes race underground to find nothing but darkness, but Wonder Woman holds up her lasso, the glowing light revealing the group of dark multiversal Batmen that are standing before them. You will not pass, the Devastator growls. Dark Knight, stand down. Batman orders them, and the beings quickly comply. He explains that after Barbados' attack, he created them out of Toy Master's robotics to guard this bunker in case there was ever another incursion. Wonder Woman turns to him. You're saying Toy Master made something stealth that can get us into the new apocalypse undetected? Very subtle. Batman pauses. Not very subtle. The earth around the bunker entrance begins to crumble, falling into the vast pit below, and the monstrous bats flap away, staring down at the gaping maw as something begins to rise. And from the earth, Toy Master's Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman hybrid mech begins to rise, bringing our heroes to new apocalypse! And that is the conclusion to Death Metal issue number 2. Now let me give you a recap like I said I would at the beginning of the video. To get to this point and fully understand what's going on, you had to be reading a whole bunch of DC until the original DC Metal event started, in which the evil Batmen invaded the planet and they tried to attack. Our heroes defeated them, pushing them back out using the 10th metal. But at that moment, they tried to go to the source wall, which they accidentally broke. And when they broke the source wall, Perpetua came through. The Batman who laughs was working against Batman, but he eventually defeated Lex and teamed up with our superheroes and teamed up with Perpetua, which he then created this universe using the power of Perpetua. Our heroes have lost the battle. That is how we got to this point. So now we're trying to redeem ourselves, seeing some of the coolest, most metal stuff ever in comics history. Anyway, if you want to get the next part of this, make sure you subscribe to the channel, as we will be continuing to cover this along with Deceased, another fan favorite, and the Marvel event Empire is coming out very soon. All of the videos linked to this series will be linked down below. It's a long-going series, but if you really just want to watch a ton of DC content, I got you covered, guys. All right, I'll see you guys next time right here. Thank you so much for your support.